All right, peace, peace, peace. What up? First and foremost, hopefully, most High in your house shall blessing your day. By His mercies, you are consumed. We're alive in the most High in your house shall's body. Two, we're naturally alive. Hold on, y'all. Alive in the most High in your house shall's body. And two, we're naturally alive, man. And it's another day, that He made. Those mercies we aren't consumed. And yeah, man, let's just get into this, man, because I was just thinking about this. Actually, I was talking about this with my brother before he had left to Atlanta, California. But yeah, man, it's all about being like, this is very important. Actually, shout out to brother somebody firstborn too, man, because this is very important. Because this is kind of impromptu, but it's very important for us to be self-defined, man, and like and yeah, man, being self-defined, man. That's why your house. I said, well, I find not honor from men. And now, I was looking at this scripture, like, in the and then in another aspect as well, man. So that's the beauty of the scriptures, man, because they could be like sometimes two, threefold, man. But let's get to this Ecclesiasticus chapter, in Sarai chapter and 4, because you know what it is too. I actually kind of like the video we talked about a few months ago, man, because I was watching, I was just watching, and I was thinking about Genesis 12 with Abraham and Sarah, which we probably gonna go into later. But I was watching when we was I told y'all it was a video about what was it? Like we touched on when like the Patrice O'Neal, when he said, listen, when the woman thinks she's better than you, like that's when the relationship is pretty much over. It was something on that, I forgot what it was, but in the video I mentioned how like that day or like a few hours ago or the day before, I think a few hours ago, I was watching the Shanti Rain on Me video, and Lorenz Tate was in there pretty much, man. And pretty much, man, it pretty much goes into the level of security of men that we need to have, like, especially as people, but as men, like, especially in that situation. But because that's like, because we're gonna get that later on in Genesis 12. But let's grab this into Sirach chapter 4 and verse 30, man, because I was just looking at this in a different aspect because this is something I need to work on as well, man. Like, because that's part of old man, like kind of caring, like kind of being like some insecurities or thing, caring about like because like Proverbs says, it's dangerous to care what other people think, man. Be self-defined, man. Doesn't really matter, man. Like even when moments like that pop up, man, it's like, listen, man, it don't matter, man. Why? And like the brother sent me the first one said, man, why you care about firstly us in the word, like even outside the word, but like it's in the word. Why you care what the senator thinks? And two, it's just dangerous to do that, man. Because listen, it's just not like people gonna talk regardless, man. So whether it's bad or great, so like it doesn't even matter, man. But let's grab this too. And that's why we see what we have, but even unto young children, even to adults, man, with the whole peer pressure thing, man. Because contrary to popular belief, man, that doesn't stop. Like it's heightened at the preteen and teenagers years, like but it still goes on with that whole peer pressure thing or that validation. Because like the brother sent me first one said, listen, as humans, that's kind of natural in humans, like one into that, one to be a part of something. So it is what it is. But it's really like when you want to be a part of something so much where it has power over you, it's like now you're just defined by that set group or set set endeavor, like even your job when it lets it define you. Now some people that just it's a reflection of all are who they are, like it's a reflection of just who they are. It's like certain people are born to do things, like a Mike Tyson was born to fight, like a Tom Brady was born to play football, and it's kind of part of their identity, but so it's that's different with that. Or like a KRS-One, he was kind of born like to rap, or yeah, some people there was born to, even like Michael Jackson, you could say he was born to do what he was going to do, but a lot of times too. But then there's a balance, that nuance of listen, I don't let what I do define me, but sometimes it's like sometimes that's just who somebody is. Because my brother, man, like he's an artist, man. He dances, does everything in arts, man. That's just who he is, man. So that's kind of what he's born to do. So it's just to find that balance and nuance to that. But yeah, man, let's grab this in Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 30. He says, be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among servants. So yeah, exactly. So like he says, be not a lion in thy house. So yeah, not only is it talking about you, like dwelling with your wife and children, man, because it's a certain level. Yeah, that actually is talking about that as well. I mean, well, it is talking about that, but in this aspect, we are talking about that as well, man, because the level of security that we should have. Because look at Yahweh Shai, man, because Yahweh Shai, actually, let's look at this again. It says, Ecclesiasticus, also known as chapter 4, verse 30, because it says, be not frantic, be not as a lion in thy house, and nor frantic amongst thy servants. So yeah, exactly. Because look at Yahushua. Yahushua was the lion, man, but you know what? He didn't carry himself like like that, man. He didn't come to like show. Because listen, like why? Because they stepped to him. They already knew, like they already knew, like, it's a lot of times too, like whenever you had to kind of explain to somebody trying to convince them, that's why the Most High Yahweh they don't convince people to follow, believe in them, or follow them, or obey their word. Listen, like that's Sirach 15. It always says this: if you want to, you want to. If you don't, if you don't, you don't. Like like the brother somebody or the firstborn perfectly says, man. The Most High Yahweh they don't chase, they don't go after people, they attract, and that's what it is too. Like all the people that believe into this day, believe in the Most High Yahweh, even throughout eons of history from the beginning, they attract. Like it's like discerned men. They attract. They don't do all that. It's like, listen, you already know, like you already knew what he was. He already knew that this was a man to follow, a man of respect to follow him. When he said follow me, they immediately dropped everything and followed him. Then he didn't have to convince them. He didn't have to do anything like that. It's all right, cool. We know, like, because a lot of times too, I think, like, us, even in the word, outside the word, men have this, like, kind of go through this, man. Like, you like, especially like in the hell manosphere, the red pill thing. Like, when like, listen, they listen. If you're a man of respect and like a man of honor and integrity and respect, listen, the women, or the what you call them, they're gonna go after you. Even same vice versa with a woman, like, because you shouldn't have to, like, convince people for that. It's like, okay, they gonna see it. It's like, like Conway said in the one song, those are like rap. He said on Air Holes, it's a rapper by the name of Conway, Griselda group, like, and from Buffalo, man. Y'all that know, like, underground rap, like, that for that scene from, like, the mid 2010s to even now, like, but he had a song on there. He said, listen, I was G before one word was spoken, so you already know, like, what it is, man. You already know. They already knew who Yahushua was. So it's like, and like the brother sent me your firstborn said perfectly, man. Like, that's what I think, and that's what's being misconstrued, like, because like all this stuff like that's a misconception with hypermasculinity and toxic masculinity, hypermasculinity. Because toxic masculinity doesn't exist. Listen, men, they're all different types of men. There's all different types of people, but there's, like, we're saying this as a men, as men, as men, or as men, I should say. Like, there's all different types of men. There's aggressive men, like, just funny men, like, athletic men, or like calm men, cool men. There's all different types of men, like, but this hyper masculinity is what it's really the over aggressiveness that people think that, or over disrespectful, over aggressiveness that people think that makes a man, and that's what it's hyper masculinity. It's not toxic masculinity, because toxic masculinity doesn't exist. That's just another thing to one. People don't like the spirit of this natural, like, the masculine spirit, like, but that's why because people don't like the most house shot, which is the most masculine you can get. But people don't, even outside the word, people don't like masculine men anymore, especially like that, and because, like, prophecy and the times we're living in, like with the divine feminine worship and the like, the mother goddess worship and the feminist movement, all that stuff. It's Jeremiah 31:22 coming to pass, of course. Well, it came to pass already. It's kind of for some decades, but it's even heightened now. So people just don't like that. People, like, had Yahushua been walking the scene now, especially all these people that say they wouldn't like him either. So that's is what it is. He's like, oh, he was an austere man, not meaning, and that austere, like the brother Assembly Firstborn said, it's not like, he was just some type of jerk or disrespectful guy. He was just really non-compromising. He said, listen, this is what it is. I'm very serious. He's like the closest thing comparison, like the lean on me, the Joe Clark type. That's one that comes to mind, like that. He was just that type, like, walking in the room, commanding respect, kind of like that. That's a perfect example. But yeah, man. But actually, man, you just let that, like, speak, you're gonna let it speak for yourself, man. Like, because it's similar, like, being like, on a natural step, even in the streets, like that. Really, like, like they say, like, like Ghetto Boys had a song back in the day. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster, man. Pretty much, they said real gangsters, they don't talk much. Like they said, real G's move in silence, man. Like real one, somebody's actually about that, man. They don't have to actually do all that talking, man. You're gonna know, like, because most of them, they actually keep they're very level headed. They're really calm because they know what they're capable of. Most, like, people like that, like gangster killers, no street dude, actually street, like, they're like that. They're really actually, like, real ones that actually like that, man. They don't carry themselves with all the rah stuff like that. No, they're gonna, like, they're gonna carry themselves in an actually certain manner, like, because they know I don't have to do all that, because, like, it is what it is. But this it's on that tip. I'm not promoting that stuff. I'm just saying that I'm using that as an example, man. But let's grab this too again. It says Ecclesiasticus, also known as chapter 4, verse 30. It says, "Be not a lion in thy house, and nor frantic among thy servants." Because yeah, how's this lion lining up with Yahushua, man? Because Yahushua was the lion, man. Like he already was that. So I don't have to keep going into how much I'm that. Listen, now let's get Jeremiah, then go get Revelation, man. Because level of security, especially as men, we should have, but really as people. But yeah, that's something I need to work on, man. Because I was talking about this. And there's a difference between hyper masculinity and toxic masculinity. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It's just hyper masculinity. What they portray, what makes a man because a lot of times too, and this is how a lot of times too. That's why a lot of times we even where our people especially our women that are actually dykes or lesbians, right? That's a perfect example of what people think. What they think especially what it. A lot of times too with women like that, or even women that are not in that lifestyle or not lesbians like that, they think of being a man. It actually too, even that's why I can tell a lot of times men that were raised by women pretty much how overly disrespectful they can be. This thing that's what makes you man, how disrespectful it can be. And that's totally the opposite, man, because actually real men is of respect. Because one, it's just listen, anything could happen. That's why men, we just should move just off of that respect. Because as men, we know threat assessment. Okay, if I say this like this or this and this, anything can happen. Or just off a general principle. The certain men, we should know how to talk to one another, not be all overly disrespectful. Because that's what some women do. Not all women, but it's saying they think a lot of times too, and that's why I'm just using this, especially lesbian women or dykes, especially they think they live in the idealism of what they think a man is, and that's not even close to the ballpark. Listen, I don't care how much you dress like E40 or Manny Fresh, man. You're not. Listen, you're still not a man at the end of the day, or how aggressive or something I don't care how if you even if you move what you call him, Snoop from The Wire, man, you're still not a man at the end of the day. So that's just is what it is. And lots, but too, and it's a balance thing too, because I said this a lot of times, especially the brother sent me or the firstborn perfectly pointed out, man. A lot of times too, especially here on the East Coast type of cities, a lot of times why are women act so masculine, because I get it's a jungle, it's a survival tactic, because because honestly, once you start talking to them, get to know that, it's okay, you're not like that, but you just had to be like that. Even the real pretty ones, it's because it's crazy out here, man. I was literally just watching a clip of actually where I'm from, West Philly, man. Some teens was fighting and somebody got shot on the bus, man. So it's a jungle out here, especially not only here, but us scattered out the four corners of the earth. But even if y'all are here in this part of Esau's kingdom, or this part of the country on the western half, in this country, man, different cities and towns, and y'all grew up in. It's rough everywhere, man. But it's pretty much I'm saying here, for example, man, because the brother said, man, listen, because a lot of times too, you can tell women most time you get to know those women, they're really not like that once you start talking to them now. Because listen, man, gangster chick, actual chick that's out about that, I mentioned Snoop from The Wire, actually, because I seen something like that, very few in my lifetime, but they gonna be like that regardless. So okay, you gonna be like, okay, that's who she is. That's just not an act. So so that's why a lot of times our women, this to to give enough perspective why they act like that, because very pretty much on the environment. Because when I talk to pretty much, man, because me personally, because being from the East Coast, being from Philly, in the New York, in the Boston, Jersey, over this area, that area. When I go to other places, when I go into the DMV area, Virginia or down south, even hearing about, it might be like that in California because all the gang culture and stuff like that they got going on there. But, when you talk to women from other places, they kind of don't act like that. The mentality is kind of still the same, the Western liberal mentality, but, they don't act like that. So I just wanted to point that out because, that's another reason why they act like that. I was talking about that, too, but, So I kind of understand that, but still, it's just it's very off-putting still, because that's the outer order. That's not the order that the Most High Yahushua made, us the women to be in. Just how we see nowadays how these got niggas out here wearing bonnets and I don't even go into how it's just Isaiah 5:20. What's in there called evil good and good evil? It's just this was an upside down world, man. It's really spiritually Babylon confusion. So that's just is what it is. That's anyway. My bad about that little rant, but Yeah, but the house shot was already lying, so he didn't have to come like that, man. He didn't have to come like the Pharisees was coming, man, because like he didn't come puff all chest out like look at us and this and that. No, because listen, he said, listen, I'm just here. I'm just here to do my Father's will. That's it, man. Like a lot of times too, he didn't even want to blow the trumpet. He didn't want to make himself known like that. Like so it's like all right, the people that followed him just knew that he had the A factor, and like the like even the Pharisees calling like, okay, damn, this guy, like they had like a Lex Luthor, the Superman complex. It's like, damn, we love him, or like we hate him, but we love him at the same time. We wish we were like that because, like, okay, damn, he's really not like us. Like this he's different from us. Like so. But yeah, let's grab this Jeremiah chapter 4 and 7. The lion has come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles on his way. He is gone from his place, and thy land is desolate. The city shall be laid waste and without inhabitants. So yeah, your house was already a lion, so he didn't have to be a lion like that. Well, he was a lion, and like he was a lion in the aspect of like Proverbs 28:1. The righteous are bold as a lion, like how faithful he was to his father unto death. But but yeah, man, he didn't have to come and do all that stuff, man. Like so let's get this because he already knew who he was. That's why he said that in John 5:41. So let's grab this John Revelation 5:5 because he's already the lion. And behold, and one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, had prevailed to open the book and to loosen the seven seals thereof. So yeah, man, that's just is what it is, man. So yeah, man. So let's go with John 5, man, because him being self-defined, like and that's like that Sarai 4 goes into that, not the reverence of other man cause thee to fall. It's crazy because that's what the Pharisees did, but it is too. But the Pharisees they had a bigger status during the house shot's time, but they still. That's why it says nothing can stand before envy, and that's why it says like in Matthew 27 it says the Pilate even picked up like they knew they did what they did to him through envy, man. How powerful envy and then envy is, man. So like envy is really powerful, and that's what that Wisdom of Solomon 2 goes into. And that's how you know that. Actually, let's look at that for right quick. Then we go hit this John 8 real quick. Let's go with that Wisdom of Solomon 2. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 23. Verse 23. For Yahweh created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Yep. And nevertheless, through envy of the devil that came into his world, and they that hold of it, and they that hold of his side do find it. So see, let's go John 8:44. That's how you can know that was ye are the father you are of your father the devil. So that's how you know that they were. Even still to this day. John chapter 8 and verse 5. 8 and verse 44, I said 8 and verse 5. 8 and verse 44, ye are of your father the devil, and your lust of your father you will do. Envy is one of them. In Proverbs 6, goes into those abominations. But I think was that one about? I think so. I could be wrong. Correct. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But it says, ye are your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do, because he was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. So yeah, exactly. And the first the Pharisees was liars. They were all that stuff, man. But they were all that goes in one, like the one at the beginning, like because Most High House tells the end from the beginning, the Genesis 3 and 15, like the Most High House seed, the godly seed versus the serpent seed. Then it goes into as far as the Most High, with Yahushua, it goes into that 2 Samuel 3:1, like the house of Saul wax weaker and weaker, and the house of David wax stronger and stronger, and that's why and that's why the house of Saul pretty much was the Pharisees, and the house of David was pretty much Yahushua. That was a prophecy that was going on even to this day, man. Even throughout time period, man. So that's just is what it is. So that's why, and that's also too, like Proverbs says, listen, the just is abomination to unjust, and unjust is abomination to the just. So it's all that, man. Yeah. So John chapter 5 verse 41, it says, and I receive not honor from men. So yeah, So yeah, being self validated, man, and also too, man, especially as like Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 12, man, because this goes into testament of like because a certain level, like because I was mentioning the Ashanti Rain on Me video. If y'all go back and watch that, it's pretty much like that's why I said be not one of the things in numbers it goes into like be not jealous of thy wife. And like well, one on the aspect too that's going on the aspect as well, like on the natural tip. On another tip is going to listen if your wife got her things going on, or she's got a good business going on, and stuff is going well for your wife, and like things are hard for you. Don't start picking arguments with her, or like or your significant other, or things like that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. But also too, be not jealous of your wife is going to like listen if you know. Like listen, because if you know your wife is very beautiful, like drop that gorgeous, this level of security of a man you should have. Like because I remember the Martin episode, like when they finally went to the club and like the they he was out with Gina and some men were like looking at Gina, man, and then he was like Martin stopped and looked at it and told those guys, he said, listen, man, keep your eyes on your drink, fellas. Like, so, but that's what that's talking about, man. It's a level of security, like, you should even have, like, okay, I know my wife is beautiful. She might turn heads, but even though, like, scriptures do say don't look at other men's wives, like other men's women like that, but, but on the balance tip, like, there's this level of some security as a man that, you should have, though, like, because let's get this too in Genesis chapter 12, verse 11, because Abraham had this, and it came to pass that he was near Egypt into Egypt. He said unto Sarah his wife, behold, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. So yeah, Abraham was like, listen, but it's this level of security that Abraham had as a man. It's like, listen, and this level of security you should have, especially like that, you brothers that have really like beautiful women, beautiful wives, like should know like, all right, cool, like this is what it is. That's going to happen. Like don't have to start like because this goes back in that clip of the UFC fighter, man. He said it perfectly, man. He was like he said, "Listen, man." He said, "Listen, if like somebody like heckle my girl or said something to my wife while we was out, man." He said, "Listen, I'm not gonna go fight and beat him up, cause why? Like I'm not going to do that, cause like he's pretty much saying is well." Depending on the situation, he said, "Listen, I'm not gonna do that every time, man, because listen, it's just like comes with it, man. So what? I'm gonna end up like risking everything to every man that say, because I know how my wife looks, so what I'm gonna say to every man that says something, I'm just gonna beat him up. And one, I'm a UFC fighter, so like going back to what we was talking about earlier, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. So, but I'm not gonna do that. It's like okay, cool. This is like so just time sees everything. Like I might respond, say, hey, listen, watch it, bro, or just keep it moving, or don't say anything, man, because." Like that's just it is what it is too. So because don't get into it, especially in situations like that. There is times to respond, but certain times like what, just let it go. Like it is what it is. But yeah, that's just going into a level of security that like in that aspect we a man should have. But this don't. I'm just talking about now. I just wanted to talk about this in general, man. This it's just all of us, man. To in the word or even out the word, man. It's level of self validation we should have, man. One, being beloved by the Most High in your house, that's the most important too. Being self validated, somebody to work on. But it says, be not as a lion in thy house, it's all right, 4:30, and nor frantic among servants. That frantic is like that's why even nor frantic among servants. That's why even when when the storm was on when Yahushua was on the when it was the sea when it was a storm on the ship, man. That's why he was calm. He was in the frantic among his servants, man, because like because his trust in the Father. That's why this will end this on Proverbs 28 real quick. And you know what it is too. That kind of goes line us up back with that with the Mufasa videos that we did with the Lion King Mufasa videos. Because I'm just thinking about this now. That's was really differentiation between Mufasa and Scar, man. Because if you were even watching Mufasa movie or even the original Lion King, man, it's like Scar like is that he was at Sirach 20:8. Like him that put himself in authority shall be hated. But really, naturally, man, like if you watch how Mufasa moved, man, he's moved with certain honor, integrity, and respect. That people they made him king, man. He didn't have to convince. He wasn't even seeking that out. So like I'm just looking at it in that aspect since we're talking about like the lion and like what you call him I forgot. I'm sorry. The Proverbs 28 and verse 1, it says, "The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous as bold as a lion." So yeah, and that goes into Genesis 49. And also too, that's why David came out of Judah, like because we can see that with 1 Samuel 17, like with David and Goliath, of course, man. So Like, that just is what it is. So, and that's why wisdom of Solomon, First John, it goes into boldness we should have in that day, man. So, so yeah, hopefully this is edifying, man. So, peace.